can get a six-figure business without lifting a finger.
These people that are selling you this stuff for 10 grand are charlatans.
YouTube videos, emails need to be on point, like all the time.
Like charge them up front. Get them to use a credit card.
So many people say they want this stuff, but I actually don't think that they even have the capacity to do it.
Everything needs to be crammed into 3 or 4 months. If it's not done in 3 or 4 months, fuck you. Right? It's embarrassing.
Hey guys, we're Dan and Mike from Business and Banter.
Business.
As you know from the channel name, you can see it right there. And we're here today to help you with your online fitness business in any way that we can. And today we're going to talk a little bit about how we've managed to get to the point we're at today. And I think that a lot of people are often surprised with maybe the amount that we've done or the amount we used to do in terms of like actual workload and all this sort of stuff. Because in this day and age, everyone's told, obviously, you can get a six-figure business without lifting a finger. Or apparently in 90 days, apparently now, some people are starting to guarantee
ridiculous.
That, which is unbelievable. I mean, if you fall for that, I think you kind of deserve it, to be honest. I mean, that's ridiculous that someone can even say that. But there we go. That's just my view. So we're going to talk a little bit about what's required, because I think that a lot of coaches we work with are often a bit shocked when we ask them to do quite a lot of work, weirdly. A lot of this is, I've got 40 clients, I can't really do much more. I don't know where I can find a time in the week, and I don't really know what I can be doing. And, we're sat here going, well, we've got, between 80 and 100 and 110 clients each. And we managed to film these, for example, regularly. We managed to film our own content, do our own content, do our own emails. We do all sorts of stuff, right, when it comes to this, and manage everything, manage the members group. We've got 400 people in it, manage the course for that, do all the recording, the uploading, everything. So I kind of go, well, what are you doing? What are you doing then? Because when you say I've got 40 clients, I'll just be overwhelmed if I had more work on, and then you're not doing YouTube and you're not doing emails either, I kind of worry a little bit about what your capabilities are when it comes to building a business, because so many people say they want this stuff, but I actually don't think that they even have the capacity to do it. So we're just going to talk through what we've done and the fact that, to be honest, our workload hasn't changed.
No.
In any time throughout that. So when we had 30 clients each, we were doing the same amount of work as we do now when we've got 80, which sounds odd, but it's going to make sense when we go through exactly what we did, why we did it. And Mike's going to take you through it literally year by year, because he did a carousel on this on Instagram. And we're going to go into depth with it. Obviously, we have been in depth with it in the members group, where we go much, much deeper into what's expected in certain time points of these years. And a lot of the people in the group, when we did the video, said it was really eye-opening to realize that, they're not even at year 1 yet.
Yep.
They're like year -3, -2. So there's even some stuff to do before you even get to this point. So I think a lot of people see the 6-7 figures. Oh my God, I want to get to that point. And this is hopefully a reality check for you of what you need to be doing to even get to our starting point that we were at when Mike puts out these numbers. So you're going to hear a lot from Mike in this one. Sorry about that.
Yeah,
it's unfortunate.
No, I'll basically read the slide, and then we can just go off piste, I guess, with like the stuff. So I just want to pick up on what you've just said there, because there's nothing more frustrating with people that are that they tell me that they just don't have any time in their week when they've got 30, 40 clients. And look, this is a different point to if you're happy with 30 to 40 clients, right? And you're happy with balance. That's a different point, because I would never impress upon anybody, thou must get to 100 clients. That's not the case, right? I've got some of my coaches that literally cap themselves at 50, 60, 70. Right, it doesn't matter. It's got to be right for you. So this isn't you need to push. That's not that. But what I take umbrage with is I want more clients, yet I don't have enough time.
I'll do anything to get more clients.
Except work. I don't want to do that.
Yeah, except stop watching Netflix and have my weekends to myself. Yeah.
So that's the thing that anyway. So let's actually start. So I've got on the carousel year 1 of coaching, but I want to start with year 0 of coaching, basically. So before that, right? So what had I done before that? So the first thing that I did was I did a photo shoot. So I got myself in photo shoot shape before I'd even started to do anything coaching wise, right? Because I understood that if I do a photo shoot, it's an element of me being able to gain empathy of what it takes to diet down, is what I was thinking. I thought, right, I've got to get myself in shape, because I've got to be a bit of a walk-in billboard type thing. Like, who am I more likely to get a sign up if I'm in really good nick, or if I just in the shape that I'm in now, right, which is just where I sit comfortably, kind of when I'm not dieting for stuff. Well, when I'm in better shape, right, of course. So I did that. I did Body Type Nutrition Academy course, which Dan taught on. So that was it a year long or something? 6 months long?
6 months.
Six month long course, nutrition. So got qualified as a nutritionist through that. I did Shredded by Science course, and I had started my sports and exercise science degree. So I'd done those 4 things basically before I even was a coach, right? So that's 2 nutrition qualifications, 1 sports and exercise science degree, and a photo shoot. That's before I started coaching, which is arguably more than what people have done in the first 3 years of coaching.
Most coaches haven't done one of them.
Right. That's what I did at year 0. Before I was even making any money, I was making 0 money from coaching at that point. None. Dan's a fantastic man. He was talking to me the other day. He said, "Have you got a mobile?" I said, "Must matter all the time, Paul."
I honestly struggle to think back to year 0 when when reference to the same year that you were in. But I know for me,
football.
Yeah, to get into football, to get into elite level football, used to be working elite level football, sports scientist, first team sports scientist at the whole city. In the year that we got promoted to the Premier League and stuff like that, I go back and I go 2 degrees, like say master's degree. I did the UKSCA like strength conditioning qualification, and I was doing all sorts of CPD around nutrition at the time as well to kind of learn more stuff around that. And then I remember when I left football, I was like you, I was doing everything. I remember I was reading Alan Aragon's research review. We were always looking through that. I don't know if you've got that written down in there.
Yeah.
We were looking through all these sorts of stuff, going to webinars to get seminars together. But yeah, for me, I did a lot of those courses because I was in football. I had to learn a lot of the stuff that I had to learn. And then, like I said, when I started at Third Space, when I started PT in London, again, within that, we had a CBD budget as part of the thing. We were allowed to spend money on things, and they regularly had people coming in. I had Tony Gentlecore come in, Dean Somerset. They did a lot of mobility, a lot of stuff around that. So again, just always, every year, I was doing at least 2 things like that every year.
There we go. So then year 1, I actually did quite well financially in my first year, and I actually think that this should be viewed as an anomaly.
It is an anomaly, right, for sure.
But the interesting thing is I stayed the same for 3 years, which is, again, unheard of. Like, some of my clients want to see change in, I'm not kidding, 3 weeks. I'm not even kidding, 3 weeks. But I got roughly around 5,250 quid a month achieved, right? So I went very quickly up between 25 to 30 clients in my first year. How I did that is I coached 6 of my friends, right, for free, right? I coached 6 of my friends for free. 4 of them did photo shoots. 1 of them competed and came second in my first 6 clients. I put that out on Facebook, and I started to use Snapchat, right? Because that's what it was back then, to just post daily about what I was doing. I used to do a lot of walking and talking with the things that I was doing with those clients, right? And myself, because I got myself in photo shoot shape, remember?
Yeah, funny that.
Right. And I got quite heavy on referrals in the beginning. So it started off with people that they'd seen me work with those 6 friends, right? I saw what you did with that person, and it was quite heavy for referrals, right? And I got quite a few in my local area to begin with. That's how it started, and I got up to 25 to 30 clients, and that's what I did. But the focal points of what I did in that year, right? So year 1 was being the best coach that I could be, absorbing as much information as possible. So I had something called Research Fridays, where I would sit down and read research for a morning of a Friday, right? That's what I would start to do. So this is when I'm full time now, right? This is when I left the RAF. This is when I'm full time. So I had Fridays to sit down and I would read research all Friday morning. I'd go through different papers and read it. I was sending daily emails. So every day I was sending an email. I did that for 3 years, every day.
Not every day though.
But every day. And yeah, using Snapchat and Facebook content where I focused on being myself opposed to making generic fitness content, right? So I got that approach from listening to Paul Mort's podcast back in the day. So when I was at year 0, to and from work, I was listening to podcasts, right? Whilst I was at work, I was listening to podcasts because I was allowed to listen to stuff whilst I was fixing stuff, right? So one of those podcasts was an old Paul Mort podcast that he used to do, and it talked about his daily emails. And I was really surprised to see him swearing, being himself, getting his personality over. And when I got into coaching, I was like, do you know what? I don't see anybody really in fitness, because he wasn't necessarily in fitness. I think he got a different product at the time called like Super Greens. I think he got like a greens powder or something along those lines, right? I didn't see anybody specifically fitness coaching at that time until James Smith, ironically, came along a couple of years later that was actually doing content that wasn't super polished, that wasn't like that was no flaws. Like, I wanted to show flaws. I wanted to be myself. I wanted to swear. I didn't want to look perfect and polished and shiny, and my hair wasn't always done, and it wasn't the best lighting all the time. And I showed what I felt like in off seasons and stuff like that, right? So I was like, if I do that, I thought I am going to stand out. That's exactly what I was thinking, right? Because I remember at the time, my boss before I left said nobody will do well at this. I don't know anybody that's done well. And I fucking can't tell you how convinced I was. I was like, yeah, but I'm going to. Like, I was so excited. I was like, but I'm going to, because I feel like I know what I'm about to do. And I knew what I was going to do. And that's what I did in year one.
And I think, to be honest, I think that's the one thing I know. I don't know if was it year 2 you started in Team Box, or was it year 3?
Year 2.
Year 2. So then I think Mike came in to work with us, with me at Team Box. And it took me a little longer than Mike to get used to that as a content style and strategy, because I think when Mike joined Team Box, we were working with, there was another 4 or 5 of us, I can't remember the time, it changed around, didn't it? And we weren't doing any of that stuff. We weren't talking like that. So when Mike came in, it was like, I don't know if we should be doing that. I'm not sure if we should be doing that, etc. Blah, blah, blah. And me and Mike spent a lot more time together, because he'd stay with me when he came down to the office that lasted about 2 months. We spent a lot of time together talking through stuff. And we'd be saying, no, this is the way we need to do it. And I'd be like, yeah, I don't know, I'm not sure. I was a little bit more their way of thinking, which was more generic, more value, more, education, all that sort of stuff. And it was Mike who convinced me that this was the way to go. We started filming videos together. We started doing a bit more of this within some of our fitness stuff. And we were like, these are going really well. Like, these videos seem to be going really, really well. And it was then when I cottoned onto that. So I think before then, Mike's always been ahead of me a little bit in terms of the client numbers and revenue. Because of that, it just took me so long to catch up to the idea of that, I think, and be okay with it.
You weren't doing sales calls either, remember?
No, I don't think we were. No, we weren't doing that. And we weren't doing emails. We weren't doing sales calls. We weren't doing emails, I don't think. And
I brought them, didn't I?
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah, because Steve tried to take your whole email list off.
He did take it. I built 1,800 in a year on an email list, which is really quick. 1,800.
Yeah. So yeah, it was then that Mike managed to convince me, held me at gunpoint, sure. He said, look, this is the way we need to do it. And then that's where we kind of ran with it. So I think in terms of the recurring revenue sort of staying the same for those first 3 years, I think it's because you had your first year, which was great. Second year, which was you did a few of the things that we were talking about, and you were like, no, this is wrong. You were like, no, I need to back myself. And then we had that discussion, and then me and you did our own thing, which meant in year 3, it took us about a year to build that up before we saw the benefit of that, I would say. That's probably what happened. Because for me, like, those first 2 years, probably the same. Revenue was a bit lower, but it was the same. And then in year 3, when we did our own thing, or the end of year 2-ish, into year 3, that's when things started to...
Well, yeah, year 2. So basically, year 2, we joined together. So I'd got offered a job at Body Type Nutrition, where Dan was coaching and lecturing. And like at the time, it didn't feel like the right thing for me, but that's how I got introduced to Dan, basically, and a couple of the guys from Team Box. And then there was this discussion between me and Steve, because Steve was my old coach, and it was about, I was making more money than Steve was, and he'd been a coach for longer, and he was my coach. And he came down to watch me at a show, and we chatted in the hotel room, and I was like, leave. And then he spoke to you, he spoke to Chris. And basically left, and we kind of set up together, right? And then obviously Laura joined a bit later, 6 months later or whatever, and Emil joined a bit later after that, right? But my focus in year 2 was exactly the same as the first slide. So it was still all the research, still daily emails, still using Facebook, still using Snapchat, still trying to be myself, probably a little bit more watered down. But in that year we did MNU as CPD, so quite a heavy nutrition qualification. We started a podcast in that year. So we had like a podcast where we got on some decently high profile guests. We had Cliff Wilson, Jeff Alberts. I think, did Lane Norton come on?
Can't remember now.
We had some relatively high profile guests for how early we were in the journey, and we do have Steve to thank for that. We started to run events. So we ran retreats for clients where we took them away for 2 or 3 days. I ran training days with them, nutrition workshops, took them out, entertained them. We ran separate training days exclusive to that. I think we did our first photo shoot with the guys at Team Box. That was right towards the end though. and we started to do some speaking events. So we were kind of asked to do body power and stuff like that, and we were in and around that. We had to stand and everything like that. Finances didn't progress that year, but skills did, basically. So we became better coaches. We did CPD. We were still churning out the content. We'd started a podcast. Bearing in mind now, this is me full 2 years at the same finances, right? But competing, doing photo shoots, doing all of those things, which I think is more than 95% of what coaches do these days, and they would be unhappy with that level of income that I was achieving. For some reason, they would be. That's year 2.
Yeah, and like I said, leading into year 3 then was when me and you started to do our own thing and move into YouTube channel. We had our YouTube channel then in year 3.
Yeah.
We were still doing educational stuff. We were still doing those things, but I think we would definitely churn out a lot more content. I think we realized at that point, hang on, we know enough here. Like, our numbers aren't growing particularly. We need to leave and do our own thing, and we need to kind of back ourselves to then make this style of content, which is what I think in year 3 was the main thing. We still, again, did the research. We still did our own stuff. We still looked over all these things, but we started to then take email and YouTube very seriously at that point.
Yeah. So my MRR was roughly about the same. It had gone up by 350 quid. That's it.
Not a bad pay rise monthly.
Yeah, not bad
in the grand scheme of
But yeah, I've got down and started YouTube, and that's the most significant thing. And the first client dedicated photo shoot, so that was the first one. Year 3, year 3 for me. Anyway.
Watson Gym.
Yeah.
Watson, didn't we?
No, it was Team Breakthrough. Was it? Was it?
I seem to remember Team Breakthrough. I seem Tanya was there. I seem to remember there was another girl. I can't remember. In Watson Gym. I just remember everyone being cold in Watson Gym.
No, that was me and you.
Was it?
Yeah, that was mine and yours when we had another one booked, and then he basically emailed my client saying that I wasn't going to be there. So we then
that was it. Yeah.
We then broke off, didn't we?
Yeah. Fun times.
Yeah, so it was at Team Breakthrough, remember? Because we all did it as well.
Yeah.
Remember doing the shoot?
Yeah.
But then we'd got other guys there on a different day. We all did a shoot one day, and then they all did a shoot another day. Remember? And we were all orange.
And then he said, "Oh yeah, I'm sure you'll be all right." That was a Team Breakthrough, wasn't it?
Yeah,
I'm sure you guys will be all right.
Yeah. I think he knows how we're doing.
Very well,
anyway, so then year 4, big significant jump, right? So year 4 was actually when I hit a 10K milestone, right? Not straight away, but it was due to YouTube taking off a bit, within reason. We've still only got fucking 4,000 subs now, so it's not like it's not like we kind of blew up and went viral, but YouTube took off. Basically, and that showed us immediate success really in terms of client numbers. Like I remember going from 30 to 50 clients within a month. It was that then when we left the coaching company, so right at the end, it was we'd left, we set up ourselves, we ended up bringing a few clients actually that were working with a couple of the other coaches. I remember that. I remember some people reaching out because what you had to do before a lot of the time was you'd have to apply. And I remember people coming in from that 30 to 50 jump saying, I'm glad that you've left because I didn't want to apply and get one of the other coaches. That's what I remember getting those things, right? I did my 4th competition in 4 years alongside more photo shoots alongside that. And I've put a note on here. Still no mention of changing to paid in fulls, no DMs, not a single Facebook ad run at this point. And that's when that's when I hit my first 10K. I don't know whether Dan was, but you won't have been far behind it. You might have been at 40 clients, something along those lines.
Yeah, I think I went from 30 to 50 as well, just not in it. I think you did it in a month. I think I took 3 or 4 to get to that same point. But yeah, it was just significant difference. We just saw it straight away the second we left and we were ourselves again. That big jump happened there, and then at that point I think we just kept backing ourselves at every opportunity. We were just like, let's do it, everything that came up, and it actually made us work harder. I think a lot of coaches I see, it makes them work less. I think we worked harder after that point. I think when we realized the YouTube was going well, we realized the emails were working, we were just like, right, this is what we need to do. YouTube videos, emails need to be on point, like all the time. Yeah. It's just funny looking back. I was telling people to do the same thing now. It's just like, fucking hell, guys, come on. It's right there in front of you. The evidence is right there. And I want to say the year after that, we did the group coaching, right? We probably did a group coaching program.
Yeah.
That's what then took us up even higher.
Yeah. So that year I've got recurring revenue achieved 18. So again, a really significant jump. That was me. I hit 100 one-to-one clients that year, and my average price was about 180. because then the following year we basically had to put our price up for current clients, so there'll be another jump coming. But I was about 180, so I've not factored in any recurring revenue that we made, or it wasn't recurring. I've not factored in any revenue that we made from the groups, and I don't actually think we're making that much from coaches in this year anyway.
No.
But I hit 18, so it was basically 100 clients at about 180. The average was, because I think that by that time we were charging 200. I think in year 5 of coaching. And I think we've got a lot of people on legacy prices at 150. 5. Yeah.
What are you charging now?
Yeah, like literally. So we got a lot of people at 150. We've been charging 200, and it was averaging at about 180, right? So we brought on our first coach into the brand year 5, launched a group coaching program, hit 100 clients, made photo shoots with clients, a large feature of what we did. So I think we doubled up that year, by the looks. That will have been the first year that we did one in the summer and one in November.
All while doing photo shoots ourselves, by the way, at this point.
Yeah.
And talking about it on YouTube and Instagram, making it a main focal point. Because we did all those with Harry, didn't we? Remember we did those daft things with Harry?
Yeah. So yeah, again, to reiterate what we're doing, we're still doing research. We're still making, at this point, it would have been Instagram. So we're making Instagram content. We're making, we're doing emails. We're doing YouTube. We were prepping ourselves for shoots. We were running 2 photo shoots a year. We were running training days every quarter. So we do training days at Stands at Fitness in Bath every quarter. We designed Blitz. So we for our guys, for our one-to-one guys, we give you our framework of what we did and how we launched. We designed Blitz ourselves. We made everything ourselves. We did, worked out how we wanted to run it. We worked out any bottlenecks that we could see. We got a process of launching a program, running it, and using it to upsells. And we brought on our first coach, who was called Joe. We didn't particularly do great with her because we were underconfident in how we were managing staff at that time. In the beginning, we didn't even, I think, charge anything because we felt tight, We then went to like a gym rent model where it was like pay us 600 quid. Very quickly we realised, hang on, we need fucking 10 coaches to make $6,000, so $3,000 each. This managing 10 coaches is just a nightmare. So we kind of messed up with how we brought, and we weren't the best managers in hindsight. And I think we felt awkward managing other people because it's us.
Yeah.
But that's what happened in year 5, by the way. Year 5, 18 grand, and we've done all of this, right? Done all these podcasts, all these YouTube, done all of this, right? And I honestly, I get people that expect this. We're just doing 6 Instagram posts.
We would have not missed a YouTube video throughout all this time a week. We just wouldn't have missed one. And also with the emails, we'd have been sending out 2 a week podcasts. Remember we did the podcast where we did the funny stories, we did all sorts of stuff like that. We did, like I said, the YouTube. This was alongside YouTube. This was alongside everything. We were doing all of it. And like you said, people come in expected just to be able to use Instagram and boost their story views and get 50 clients. And you're just like, fuck me. Like the patience is non-existent these days. And you look over these numbers and you're like, again, people are expecting it without doing all the groundwork. Because everything we're telling you to do, by the way, is all the stuff we've done it. Like we're not like sitting there going, oh, you need to do all this, but we didn't. No, we did all this, and it probably took us longer than it takes you because we've learned all the stuff along the way. But we're giving you as well,
and we've sped up the process, and it's after COVID, which is ironically year 6 of coaching, was COVID. Since then, online became a little bit more of a thing. So we worked our bollocks off during COVID. We grafted. So I hit 23.5 recurring, and that was with a price increase for existing clients. So I think I remember we put our price up to maybe 225 or I think 225, and we brought up the clients at 150 up to 200, I think. Something along those lines, right? I've got my MRR as being 23.5, right? So that will be more coaches brought onto the brand. So I think that maybe Jimmy and Bex maybe came on in that year. And then that year we hired staff as well. So we hired a social media manager, we hired a copywriter, and we hired a VA. A VA we got rid of after I think a month, but we had a social media manager to run like a Biceps and Banter account that was separate to our own. Didn't really do anything, top lad, but it didn't really go anywhere. And a copywriter to basically take over our emails, which was Chris Burns. We then also released staff that year. So I think that the social media manager left that year. I don't think he completed a full year. I think we took back the emails. I don't think Chris was a full year. I don't think.
No,
I think
so, no.
took the load off us for a bit and did great. But I think that we wanted to carry on writing them ourselves, and then the VA lasted a month, right?
I think certainly with the writing emails, I think there was part of us that missed writing them. Like again, we come back to like doing stuff because you want to do it rather than feeling like it's a chore. And like we actually, I think, really enjoyed the process of writing those emails within that.
Yeah. So that was year 6. Then year 7, it started. This is almost the stuff that's non-applicable, really. And maybe we don't go too much into this, but year 7 is when we started to pivot towards coaches. So we still did exactly what we're doing on the previous slide, right? YouTube / podcast now, emails, blah blah blah. Right, we still did the same thing, but we started to pivot towards coaches as a full time. So this was year 7, right? So I'd moved out to Dubai. So I remember moving to Dubai on 23 grand because that's when I spoke to Joe, Family Wealth, about financial advice, and then that year we basically launched the playbook. So we'd created our one-to-one playbook. I think we'd done 2 launches or 3 launches, and sold I think 30 each time on those, which kind of showed that we got a market for it. And I think that we tried like a business and body blitz. Like it was like 8 weeks blitz where we added in like some business stuff for coaches. Didn't really work.
I think with that as well, like just with that pivot there as well, just to say this bit out loud because I think it's important, is that we did that because we had that many of our clients that were asking us the question about how we built it and how we did this, right? So at the time we probably worked with, I would say, I don't know about you, Mike, but I would say probably 25% of my clients were in the fitness industry, minimum. Right? So maybe even more, maybe a third of them, right? We do a lot of photo shoots, we used to get all these people in shape, right? So a lot of personal trainers we worked, and I think they worked with us because they respected our authority. I think they respected our knowledge because of all those things. And then we were getting these results and we were doing it ourselves as well alongside that, right? And I think that the reason I want to say is I think it's important to know, because we pivoted into this because we had all of those people who were PTs asking us, hey, I've got a business mentor. He's told me to send all these cold DMs. Do you guys do this? No. He's telling us that we should do paid in fulls, and I pay you recurring. So like, obviously you don't do it, but should I be doing paid in fulls? Why would you do that? Why are they telling you to do that? And basically we had enough people say to us like that they were being told to do shit that just doesn't matter. And there's nothing that we'd ever done. And we were like, maybe we should just help these people and just tell them what we did. And the majority of those people that joined that 8-week business and body blitz, I think were our clients probably. Certainly people that bought the playbook were. I remember that.
Yeah.
When we did the playbook stuff, they were keen on that. So for us, the reason we pivoted was because we had the demand there from people in our current paying audience that were asking us for this advice and telling us, you know, we need your help. Whereas I see a lot of people at the moment pivoting into it, and I'm like, one guy in particular, the guy who did the fucking 6 figures in 3 months, like up until about, I think 18 months ago was in our fucking members group and probably had about 30 clients, right? Is like, you just be wary of people that aren't sharing this stuff with you. Because there's mentors out there who, again, like their dads have funded their whole fucking gyms that have been losing money their whole life. And then now they're an online business mentor. It's just like, just be wary. I think that if you are going to ever pivot into things that maybe look to make more money or seem exciting, just make sure you've got the proof of concept that's there behind it. And again, we talked about this in the last video about your journey, what you're going through. Remember that people will ask you for your advice on your journey and what you've done. And that is a really powerful thing to be able to lean on, that you've done it. And that's the only reason we pivoted into this, was we had that many people asking us, how have you done it? How have you done it? And that is a clear indicator when you've got clients in your business asking, how do you do it? So if it's getting stronger, doing powerlifting, it's a surefire sign that you need to maybe share a little bit more of that and move into those areas. Because as we said in, like I said in the last video, you are so important to this, like what you're doing, how you've done things. That's what stands the test of time. And like Mike said, we're just teaching people what we've done. There's nothing hidden there. That's what we've done. So when we look at our weeks now, they are built around content, YouTube, emails. It always has been. That's what's caused our growth. That's why we know it's really, really important, because Instagram has come and now gone during our life cycle, because Facebook was more popular. Like Mike talked about Snapchat being more popular. So it's not about the platform that's like, oh, there's magic platforms come along. No, the principles that we're discussing apply across all platforms. They apply across everything that you're doing. So all these other mentors, like I said, they don't know this stuff because they've not built it this way. They've not done this stuff. They're giving you all the hacks, all the secrets, all the things about latest Instagram hacks. No, what we're talking about are the principles that will apply to any platform with any future and anything like this. And the reason we're so bullish on YouTube and email is because that's the one constant throughout all of this stuff that is never going to go away anywhere from that. It's really important you recognise that.
I think, just to add on to that, really good points is that there was a small level of apprehension, which I almost don't see these days. It's almost like becoming a business mentor is like fucking easy money, get in. We were like, can we do this? And it was the fact that people were asking us, and we were seeing kind of like what other people were doing. So I just want to reiterate, at the time that we got into this, we were at year 7 of coaching, right? Year 7. I'd maintained above 100 clients for the previous 2 years. So I was good at coaching clients. I was good at retaining them. So our average retention was over a year. So we'd learned to retain our clients, right? Without contract. We'd not sent a single cold DM. We had not relied on ads. We had tried different apps to use for coaching. We'd built our own app. We tried influencer marketing. We had tried ads. It hadn't worked. We'd brought on coaches. We'd gotten coaches full. We've hired staff. We've fired staff. Dan had done a copywriting course. Dan's got a master's, got lots of education behind him. I have lots of education, don't have a master's, didn't do the same copywriting course, but feel pretty adept at copywriting due to the sheer volume that I'd done. We got a YouTube channel that we feel like we can help people with. We got a podcast.
Even with the YouTube though, it's like I learned how to film and edit with all this stuff. I didn't just outsource to someone. Like I learned and went through everything of how to do it all, tried it all, experiment with it all. Same with you, the copywriting. It's just I hear a lot of coaches and they're like, oh, but where to start? Just fucking get stuck in, go on YouTube, figure out how to do it all. Like that's what we did.
We'd run retreats, photo shoots, training days, community events, spoken at places. At this, given all of that, and we were still like, "Ooh, can we? Can't we?"
Yeah.
But knowing that information now, we go, "No, we are the best people to talk about that because we've actually done the things that we believe, like Dan said, will help you build a business that's not focused on next week. That we focus on building a business for the long term,
10 years. Yeah.
And our focus, right, was to do exactly what we did in our fitness business for coaches. We wanted to be we wanted to deliver the highest standard. We wanted to oppose the other values and beliefs. Like in fitness, we kind of oppose the sellouts and the snakes and the code belows and all of that jazz. We did the same thing, right? Because we believed and we had values that actually all of these people that are selling you this stuff for 10 grand are charlatans. They're making it up. They're making up the figures. They're manipulating you. They're trying to get you to take out credit cards. They're not giving you results. Like they're harming your business. So we did the same thing. We designed our coaching style and approach, and we tried a few iterations. We first started with Loom videos weekly, didn't work. We then went to videos weekly, didn't work. It was too much. There weren't enough time to implement. So we settled on the rhythm that we've got now in terms of the data that we track, in terms of the group support that we give, in terms of the one-to-one support that we give, and in terms of the one-to-one calls that we would have, right? We settled on that, right? We've added a few things in over time. We've created group coaching playbook. We've created a copy clinic style thing because we feel like they're useful. And we've built out what we believe to be the best thing on the market, right? We focused on products. We didn't focus on fucking selling or numbers or hammering you with DMs like the others or putting everything into ads from the get-go, right? We focused on our fucking product at being the best, right? And delivering the best results. And we very, very quickly did start to deliver the best results per person, right? Because every other mentorship will bring on 500 people, right? And they'll get 30 results, no problem, right? Per person, because we are capped, I can say with full confidence that we've got the best results. Because of course we're going to. Of course we're going to, because we're the ones doing the coaching, because we didn't outsource to members of staff, etc., that we haven't done things in a different way. Of course we're going to. And I put some numbers up the other week, right, where 55% of my clients, so over 1 in every 2, are now above the 8.3k a month, which if they maintain for a year is a 6-figure business. Over 1 in 2. They didn't come in over 2. Like, it's ridiculously high numbers. I think I've got 8% of my clients over 20k, all of which, so 8 of them basically, all of which came below 5k a month, right? Ridiculous numbers. You just don't see those numbers. You will see the big 1s or 2s from people where they're talking about that they made 90 grand a month. Yeah, but it's paid in full. You know it is. You know it is. So we focused on delivering what we believed was the best thing. And that's what your product should be about. And we've replicated the exact thing we did in fitness with what we do now. Still no contract. Shock horrors retention still above 12 months, right? We've no contract, right? We still charge a fair price. We always charge a fair price in fitness. We still charge a fair price now. We've not sold out. It's not been money over everything. We're both capped. We've not tried to bring on more and more and more. We've got a waiting list now. If we were just solely focused on money, we could bring on his waiting list. Dan could bring on 25. I could bring on 25. Beautiful. It's another fucking, I don't know, 26, 27 grand, whatever it might be, without doing the maths. Yeah, I think I've got 30. That's why mine's 26. Could bring them on, but we don't, because we focus on the exact same fucking principles, right? The principles that actually help you build a business. And I don't really need to go into the next fucking 3 or 4 years, but put it that way, right? Put it this way. Over the last 3-4 years of working with coaches, we've done things in the exact same way that we did in fitness. And it's led us to now have a 7-figure business, right? That's where it's led us. There's nothing special about us. It's 2 lads that said that they were going to do something and went and did it, right? That we didn't say that we wanted to do something and not back it up with those actions. We did work weekends. We did work late nights. We did research Fridays. We did try stuff. We did change apps. We did consistent YouTube for a year that we committed to and then carried it on. We did write emails fucking daily. We did CPD. We did turn up to seminars, in-person events. We did network. We did get our clients together for the community. We did all that, and we continue to fucking do that, right? And we get the results for it. But people don't want that process. People want to know the quickest way to 10K, the quickest hack, the quickest workaround. Like, charge them up front, get them to use a credit card, like, see how much that they can pay you. And I fucking hate it, right? I fucking hate that, because we all got into this industry, hopefully, to help improve somebody's life, to help better someone's life, because we care, right? And this is why we are so passionate about it. We actually fucking care about the clients that we work with, right? We care about them. We don't just fob them off with any old fucking bullshit. We're trying to teach them the core principles and foundations of how to be a good business owner, good coach, right? Because that's what we learn to do. All of a sudden, it just seems to be everything needs to be crammed into 3 or 4 months. If it's not done in 3 or 4 months, fuck you, right? It's embarrassing. And we will keep doing what we're doing, and we'll do it in the exact same way. Nothing will change. We'll do it in the exact same way for the next 2 years, and then we'll fucking dip out, and we'll retire, and everybody else will still be scrambling around trying to build a business when you just needed to do what we've just said and be patient for 10 years. That's it. Just be patient for 10 years. 10 years sounds a long time, but I tell you what, when you're retiring at 40, it's not that long.
Yeah, it's like you said there, and everything we repeat in the members group and everything we repeat to clients is that you've got to want to do this for more than just the next 3 to 4 months and getting some clients in and getting some money in. Like, you've got to almost want to make the mistakes and want to go through this stuff again. I don't want to keep repeating this, but like, again, we're here on a Sunday at like 10, 11 o'clock in the morning, like, and I get clients go, I don't have the time, and I just go respectfully, I don't care. I don't want to listen to that because I don't have the time. Apparently, if you don't have the time, I definitely don't have the time. Definitely don't. And it's just, again, it's not about whether you've got enough time. It's about whether you want to do it or not. That thing for me has always come back to, like, we talk about COVID. I remember in COVID, I think that was the closest I've ever been to burnout. It was a time where we were like worried about the business, worried about whether it was going to go under. And we worked our nuts off. So it actually became the point at which it actually grew quite significantly. Obviously, thanks to COVID and thanks to being online, it did grow quite significantly.
Thank you, COVID.
Yeah, cheers. COVID-19. I just worry for a lot of the future of the fitness industry in terms of the coaches that are coming on, because I think they're sold a dream, I think they're sold this thing. And I genuinely believe that any coach listening to this and going to apply it from this point onwards in the next 10 years will come out, the cream will rise to the top, and it'll be fine. That's why we're so adamant about the message and why we're so adamant about it with our clients, is because I know the ones in my client list, and I know the ones in the members group who will still be here in 5, 6, 7, 8 years. I know the ones because I know their work ethic. I know the way to turn up to calls. I know the questions they ask. I know all that stuff. And it's that they're doing all this stuff anyway without me having to tell them. So just learn from this and apply it and do it, like I said, for another reason other than just the money, because the money is what follows. It's not the goal. It's not the main reason. It's not why we did all this stuff. Like Mike said, we did it because we had a way of doing things. We wanted to share a message and we believed in the way that things should be done, in the same way, like I said, about we've shifted niches, but the message and the way we do things is still exactly the same. And that's what you need to stand for. And I don't see it, unfortunately, that much. So yeah, we'll stop there. But it was quite a long one, I think. But again, think years, not months. Like, so many of you are thinking fucking weeks, never mind that. But think years, and you won't go far wrong.
There you go. That's it. Bye.